Yeah, you're going to fail, but fail is a first attempt in learning. Yeah, you're going to be told no, but it's the next opportunity. Um, but just be able to improvise and adapt and pivot whenever something happens. And it's not necessarily changing the mission because in the military, the mission is the mission. We don't have a plan B. We have the mission. The mission is it. It's how you're going to get that mission accomplished.
Welcome to the Leader's Mindset, where we bring you illuminating conversations with leaders who are making an impact in their businesses and our communities. Today, I'm here with Frank Manteau, U.S. Marine Corps veteran, founder of Mill Treats, and a man who's helping really lead the charge growing our veteran entrepreneur community here in Las Vegas because he's bringing Warrior Rising to the Las Vegas area. He's going to tell us all about that today. Thanks for being here today, Frank.
It's an honor to be here. I appreciate the opportunity.
So let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into what Warrior Rising is. How did you get involved? And what inspired you to get it going in Las Vegas?
Well, what Warrior Rising is, and I have to give you an explanation of the backstory of how I got part of Warrior Rising. So I originally started my company out of my home, making the chocolate crayons out of my kitchen. And we almost got stopped. Well, we did get stopped by the county of San Diego, where we almost received a $10,000 fine because we were in violation of 14 different ordeals of not between state, county, federal, all that stuff. And then it became a quick apparent that once we overcame that hurdle and we noticed that we had to go nationwide shipping because we had so many people wanting our product, that became a whole new set of challenges. And that was a whole lot more of understanding business, understanding what it took to operate a business on a national scale, and being able to get the product to people's hands on a national scale. Because in the food industry, there's a lot of requirements that you have to go through, and learning what not to do by almost getting fined led me to where we needed to start, on top of doing pre-orders and start doing crowdfunding, was understanding business a little bit more. Because as in the military, we have a lot of the leadership skills, we have the discipline, we have all those things, but is there truly a way that we can understand what it takes to run and operate a business? And that is where I got introduced to Warrior Rising. The founder of Warrior Rising reached out to me on LinkedIn, Jason Van Camp, and told me about what their program does. And I had been through a couple other similar programs, but what set Warrior Rising aside from a lot of the other programs out there is that they had a curriculum. They had a 40 module program, and it's the entry to barrier for Warrior Rising is to sign up for the Warrior Academy. It's a 40 module program that takes military lingo and puts it into business speak. So those of us coming out of the military, their spouses and their immediate children can start, grow, and scale a business and understand it from a military point. And that was when the light bulb clicked on for me, is I now had an understanding of what I needed to do to operate because I understood military language. I understood what it took to how to transfer these skills into the business because of what Warrior Rising had through their Warrior Academy. So that's how I got started into being able to get intertwined with Warrior Rising.
Yeah, it's amazing because we learn so many amazing skills in the military that make us great at business and great at entrepreneurship. But we don't always, it's hard coming out as a veteran. We don't always know what our skills translate into. And people try to help us with that. But one of the big challenges is if you've been on the inside and working with them in the military or with the military, you don't really know what it's like on the outside.
No.
It's hard to do that translation if all you've done is work with the military or in the military. And veterans come out with so many great skills and traits to be entrepreneurs. And I get asked this all the time. I don't know if you get asked this. Why aren't there more veteran entrepreneurs? What is going on with that, and how can we promote veteran entrepreneurship?
So what I find is a lot of times the reason there's not a lot of it, well, there is a significant, there's about a 1% to 2% of veterans are entrepreneurs, but we're one of the most successful entrepreneurs once we do it. And I think it is where it boils down to when we get out of the military, because there's a lack of proper transitioning. There's a great resources of transitioning into becoming a part of the military and staying a part of the military. But when you come out of the military and go into the civilian industry, you don't know what you're doing. You've basically lost purpose. And that is one thing that why I became an advocate of Warrior Rising, because Warrior Rising helps you be able to find that purpose through entrepreneurship, through the education, the training, the coaching, and the mentorship that is available through Warrior Rising that gives you that opportunity, that purpose. And that's why I'm wanting to be able to bring it here to the Las Vegas area, as they're now wanting to start in-person events and platoons to gather the community locally.
Yeah, I went through that myself coming out, and I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. I was already an entrepreneur before I left active duty. I'd started my company about a year before, but that you do lose a little bit of a sense of purpose when you take that uniform off. And entrepreneurship can be something that gives veterans that purpose, which is why Warrior Rising is really great. You mentioned the curriculum a little bit. How do we get started with Warrior Rising, and what can we expect when we first jump in to a Warrior Rising platoon or at a Warrior Rising event?
It's simple. All you have to do is go to warriorrising.org. At the very in the menu, click on Become a Vetrepreneur, sign up for the Warrior Academy. And like I said, it's a veteran, spouse, and their immediate children. So they can get in there. And the best thing about this is it's all free. And the Warrior Academy is at your own pace. So you can I've seen people sit down and do it in 3 days and have it completed. I've seen people that are still want it 2 years later, finding, getting there and getting it, still not having it completed. And you go at your own pace and it's your own time to be able to do it.
So what is some of the curriculum we'll find in Warrior Academy? And can you give us some examples of how we're using military language in that Warrior Academy to bring home the concepts about business?
It's basically a lot of the things that, and to be able to do a business plan, what do you got to do to be able to create that business plan? And we take things as a terrain map. We take things as a 5-paragraph order that we understand in the military, and how to be able to utilize those to build your business plan. We do a SWOT analysis, and we take the military language of understanding of what it takes for a SWOT analysis to be able to get that information to find out if your company is feasible or viable for you to start it as growing.
Yeah, I got to see you do a little bit of this terrain map at an event last summer here in Las Vegas, and a lot of light bulbs went on for veterans who had been entrepreneurs for a while, and even a couple of light bulbs went on for me about ways to think about things that were different. So what else besides the terrain map? What are some other military concepts we apply in Warrior Rising to business?
Just every concept of it. Basically, what it boils down to is, in the military, you have the person to the front that's leading you. You have the person to the left or right of you that's supporting you, and have the person behind you that's teaching you. And that's what Warrior Rising is doing. It's basically taking all the encompasses of what it takes in the military, of those that they bring in to mentor, by leading you and helping, give you the resources and the access and a massive network to get things situated, as well as having you take your skills and teaching those that are around you and helping them to be able to support and grow, as well as the ones that are near you, to help you support and help grow you while you're doing the same for them. And who are you taking from the rear that you're helping to be able to give that information to? And within the Warrior Academy, it gives you that resources to sit down at your own pace and be able to, and they're short modules. They're maybe 15 minutes long, to understand a lot of the aspects of the military into your line and into your business, whether it's the operations side of it, whether it's different variations of opportunities for funding. And, once you complete that Warrior Academy, then what you get involved in, or as soon as you sign up for it, you get involved in their email list, which gives you access to their monthly coaching calls, their monthly master classes. And they'll do monthly master classes on whether it's marketing, whether it's funding, whether it's getting access to like a Walmart, to be able to do an open call, to be able to put your products in Walmart, to be able to get in connections with AFEs, to get different, like I said, marketing, branding, funding opportunities. And then from there, they get you into Warrior Academy, or Warrior University, my bad. Warrior University is a 8-week interactive online, immersive course of taking that military language a little bit more into basically like a business 101, and having to understand you a little bit more aspects up to it, and helping you develop and grow your pitch. So it's kind of hard to sit there and say, well, what is one thing? Because the military is so massive, and there's so many resources and so many things that we can bring in the military, from the military into the business aspect.
Yeah, it's great to hear that there's a foundation, a self-paced foundation, but then there's more. They're not just leaving you with an online course, which so many in the civilian entrepreneur world programs are. It's the
Mhm.
kind of these canned videos that you watch and you get a certificate for graduating, then you're done. So you've got these opportunities to sit on these coaching calls. You've got opportunities to go to these webinars. Is there we've heard a little bit about the online component. Are there in-person events? Is there in-person part of the program as well?
So what they do is after you go through the Warrior University, then you go through the Warrior Academy, then Warrior University. After you've built the knowledge and the skills to develop your pitch deck, you can submit your pitch deck to the national office where they have a panel that reviews the pitches. And then what they do, and this is where Warrior Rising became a big pivot for me, is because of Warrior Rising, I did not become a statistic of COVID, is they do what's called a business shower. After you get to your pitch deck and you submit it and they work through it, they then work with you and help you redefining and working on your pitch to make it a little bit better to go into these business showers. And it's basically a pitch deck, pitch competition. But if you get selected for a business shower, the money is great. I've seen it to where whenever I went through, the top winner got $20,000. I've seen another business shower where the winner got $50,000. Recently in November, we did $150,000 to the top winner. And everybody walks away with some kind of funding. But the biggest part of what Warrior Rising does is Jason Van Camp is big about, that whole, it's more of, like they say, and I'm not going to get biblical in this or anything else, but there's a concept, and Jason relies on this one is you can lead a man, you can give a man a fish and he'll
Yep.
eat it for a day. And then if you teach him the fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. And that's the concept of what Warrior Rising does is they give you those resources and they give you those connections. So when you go to this business shower, you're having key individuals that have run, operated, sold businesses, and they have been able to willing to give their time back and give to the entrepreneurs and mentor them for 6 months after they go through this business shower. I got a opportunity to get a free MacBook laptop, which was very helpful to get me going and get rid of the old, you know, 8, 9 year old laptop that I was using, give me current, technology to operate and function with. And then I got to pitch my business. Granted, I didn't win, but I walked away with a $10,000 grant that was free, that was able to give me the last amount of funding that I needed on top of the crowdfunding we did. I had received an investment from a friend for $10,000, and that extra 10,000 I needed gave us what we needed to pay the last invoice off to a manufacturer to mass produce and go nationwide shipping. So it's not necessarily the money was great. The money was icing on the cake. It was the connections, it was the resources, it was the in-person, opportunities to go through this pitch deck and be able to interact with people and get the word out there. And they also are an advocate of promoting the businesses that come through and stuff of that nature.
So that's great to hear that besides the curriculum, there's access to capital. There are opportunities for that, not guaranteed access to capital, but opportunities for
Mhm,
such. And then that also can come in the form of, it may be a grant, it may not be equity investment,
mhm.
but all of those are opportunities for a entrepreneur who gets involved in Warrior Rising.
Exactly. And that's why we are now launching platoons. We want to focus on key areas. And right now we're starting out with Las Vegas, which here we're launching our first one is going to be March 5th. Um, and what that is going to be able to do for the in-person aspect is it bringing the local communities to meet local um, subject matter experts in their area to help them grow and start and scale their businesses. And then we're also going to be looking at trying to get funding from here locally, from private donors, private, people to organizations that want to be able to offer funding. So we can have a business shower here in Las Vegas to where the money's raised in Las Vegas and in Nevada, and it goes back into the veterans, their spouses, and their immediate children. And their money then goes back into the community as well. So when we do this is we're going to start out doing monthly master classes in person, talking about various operations from business, whether it's like our first one is going to be initially a launch of telling what Warrior Rising is, introduction. And then we're starting out doing business in Nevada. What does it take for you as a person in the veteran mil-spouse independent, community to start, grow, and scale your business? Whether it's all the way from getting your business license, getting your EIN, getting your fictitious name, getting your registering your business with Silver Flume, getting resources through SBA, SBDC, all these avenues, and having this information directly to them. And they get to meet the people that are in charge of these organizations that are running these requirements. They know and they interact, have a big place to, person to contact.
So that sounds really valuable. That stuff I've done a lot of that, but some of that sounds really valuable to me as well, even though I've been in business for almost 10 years now, for over 10 years now. How do we get signed up? Where's it going to be?
So what you're going to do is the first thing that needs to be done is everybody needs to sign up for the Warrior Academy. Okay. And then what I'll give you the link. There's a Google form that we have set up that we will be able to let people RSVP to that event for the March 5th. And then also there'll be another form that will get them interest into the Las Vegas platoon. And one of the things that we're doing with this platoon is once you sign up and you join the Warrior Academy and you sign up for the platoon, we're going to ask you to put in the work. We're going to give you the resources. We're going to give you the knowledge. But if you want to be selected for that business shower, you've got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be able to show that you're applying these things and you're being able to have the dedication and the responsibility to take this information and apply it and grow your business. And then we'll work on getting you selected for the business showers, whether it's one, it's in another location, but our goal is to have one here by 2026 and getting them to always be a part of it. Whether you come in and you start out as just not having a clue and we give you the resources to start your business, whether you've just started your business, you want to get those. And then if you've been with us for, you've been through this program, or you, as you said, you've been in business 10 years, you can come in and be able to be a mentor and be able to assist people in your industry and help out. So it's we want people to stay involved and stay engaged. It's not, we're going to one and done. You're constantly involved. That's what we're rising, even their online master classes. We have a master class. I forget what it is off the top of my head, the title of it, but I'll give you the link to that one.
Absolutely.
Once they sign up for the Warrior Academy, it's not you know the link. They have to sign up, be able to get a part of those master classes. But I'll get you the topic on it. But the very next day, March 6th, is an online master class that Warrior Rising is having.
And we'll get you, all you watching or listening, we'll get those links in the show notes if you're in the Las Vegas area or just interested in Warrior Rising in general. We'll get all those links to you in the show notes and the episode description so you don't have to go hunt them down. So I want to go back to the business shower for a little bit. I want to pick your brain a little bit and get your expertise. What are the things that veteran entrepreneurs can do to set themselves up for success to get selected to be part of that business shower?
Follow the curriculum and follow the information that Warrior Rising is going to give you. And also look, we all get it. We all dive down that Google rabbit hole of I need to do this to be able to do that and everything else. They have a lot of people that have been through the pitch competitions. They have people that are knowledgeable in creating and setting up a pitch. And that's one of the things that we'll do is once you get through the Warrior University and you get into developing your pitch, if you get selected, we will work with you. Even if before you get selected, our goal here at the local level is to have a specific, more than likely a 2 to 3 week setup to where we go in depth and help you develop your pitch and build that perfect pitch. I wouldn't say perfect because nothing's actually perfect. Develop that repetition and that be able to understand what it takes to put out a good pitch. And it ultimately, bottom line, boils down to knowing your business. And we'll help you understand that. We'll bring out those questions and that you'll need to ask yourself of knowing your business, what it takes to understand your business and representing your business as a leader in your business as well as a leader in your industry. So there's a lot to that whenever you try to, that's just the tip of it.
Do you have a favorite pitch you've seen at a business shower or one that really impressed you?
Oh, I would have to say it was Be honest with you, there has been so many that has gone through. I will say the one that there's two that's my favorite. Um, and it's only because it's close to me. Is I got to know Kurt Balish of Balish Woodworks out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. As a former, not former, I just put it on pause. I used to do woodworking before I did this. He is a true artisan at woodworking, and he can take a lot of things and take wood and turn it into unbelievable masterpieces. And he was able to get selected for a business shower, and he didn't get first, but he was able. There was a somebody in the crowd that was willing to donate to Warrior Rising to give him a significant funding to help him be able to grow and scale his business. And he has done amazing stuff in the world of woodworking. And then the other one I met whenever I was traveling the country a couple years ago, and I started mentoring him because I saw his potential. I saw his ability to create works of art, and he takes anything that can be broken down into small granular pieces and puts them into rings. And he actually made me a ring, two of them now. One was blue with and it has sand from Iwo Jima in it,
Hmm.
and it had a red blood stripe on it, significance of the Marine Corps. And then I had him create me an OD green one that actually has the sand of Iwo Jima in it. And he was able to get to a pitch competition and walk away with some support. But he does cremation rings, he does sports memorabilia rings, and all these things, stuff like that. But those are two that were close to me that I would say have to be the favorites. But there has been so many people between Teresa Black with Bon Apple Sweets, another chocolate company that creates chocolates from dates and takes away the natural, all these a natural product, not all these extra additives. I think her main product has only got 3 ingredients in it. You know what I mean? So it's a good quality chocolate like we put out when with our chocolate crayons. We have My Homes, they've created an app to be able to keep all your repair necessities in one location and get communication from. We have Pillars of Valor Coffee. He does whole bean coffee, and his mission behind that. It's there's so many, Case on Shaving, they do shaving equipment. He's part of it. And we actually have 3 others that I would say, like I said, there's so many I can't just say a favorite that are here in Las Vegas. We have Nick Martucci with Tower Training Academy.
Yeah, that's a great company.
He's doing an innovative, training apprenticeship program to allowing people to come in and get a job with the wind and power industry. And he's just now got selected to be able to have a battery apprenticeship and program. We have Pete, and I cannot remember her first name to save my life, but with Forgotten Not Gone.
Hmm.
They were alumni of Warrior Rising Business Shower. We have Mike Starr from Blazing Star Barbecue out of Pahrump, that he's an amazing barbecue sauce. And like I said, Pete and over there, Forgotten Not Gone, they're doing amazing, great things in the community for trikes and getting veterans out in the community. So it's kind of hard to say that there's one favorite because there's so many companies that come through and put in the work and actually show up and make that step forward to grow their businesses and be a positive impact in the community.
Well, that's a great answer to the question, because rather than hearing about one favorite, I love to hear about all these different companies that are really crushing it, doing A, that have great products and services, and B, are doing really well as a result of participating in Warrior Rising.
It
So
it is, and one of the things, and I give you, and this is a personal, connection, like I said, with the rings is I found him whenever I was traveling the country, and James Legear with Lear's Wood Shop or Workshop now. He changed the name because we worked on that. But the ability to see him actually go through the Warrior Academy and the light bulb to click like it did for me, and to work on every aspect that needed to work on, and to be able to mentor him on a monthly basis to help him get accepted to the business shower, is a testament to what Warrior Rising does, is because they encourage us that come through it to be able to give back and support the community and stuff like that. And to be able to have him, get selected for a business shower, knowing that what I learned in Warrior Rising, I was able to help advance onto what Warrior Rising learns and take what my skills were in business and what Warrior Rising taught me and give it back to somebody and have them to be selected.
And giving back is a big part of Warrior Rising. You talked about looking for and needing some folks to come in and be mentors in some specific subject areas. What are or who are some of the folks you're looking for to come in and help with the Warrior Rising platoon here in Vegas?
There are so many aspects of business. We're looking at every opportunity there in business. We're looking for people to help master classes for operations. People help master classes for marketing, mentorship, marketing in those aspects, funding opportunities where those are, where the, loan officers or SBAs or SBDC, those that come into that. But in the way of mentorship, we're looking people in all industries because we don't know yet who's going to be coming in and what their industry is going to be. Like I'm in a unique industry. I'm in the food and I'm in the educational industry. So to find me a mentor was, that one where I had to get somebody that was in the educational system. And I had to get somebody that was in the food industry. We're looking for people. We could have somebody that can come into a printing, aspect where they're doing t-shirts or doing apparel or they're doing stuff like that, where we would need somebody that can help out in that industry. We need people that could be, doing mechanical products. We can people that do machine work. We can do people that can be do woodworking. So we need people that are leaders and longtime standing businesses in these aspects to be mentors that be willing to come in. And when we select these people for the business showers here locally, they would be willing to work with them for a 6-month minimum, and it's a give back type situation. To give them 6 months of your time, 3 hours, roughly 3 hours a month, to help them. What do they need help with? What do they need focus on? Where are they, where they could help out these companies that we're bringing into the platoon with their businesses. And they don't necessarily have to be in the veteran military community. They can be outside of the community, but they love to support entrepreneurship. They love to support the military veteran community and their spouses or immediate children and stuff like that.
Well, so it sounds like no matter what industry you're in, we could use your help with Warrior Rising. So don't sit on that. Reach out to Frank, reach out to me. We'll help get you connected if you've got something that you feel like you'd really like to share with military and spouse, immediate family, veteran entrepreneurs. Besides the mentors, as you know, our entrepreneur community is kind of small but growing in Vegas. Our tech community is kind of small but growing in Vegas. Some of us are living at the intersection of those things, trying to grow them all together. What are some other ways, or are there some other ways that the ecosystem can help Warrior Rising and increase veteran entrepreneurship here in the Valley?
One of the things that we're working with is we're going to be working with a lot of the other organizations out there, whether it's the VFWs, the American Legions, the Veterans Resource Center, SBA, SBDC, and all these agencies, is getting the word out there, letting people know that we are here and we are here to support and we are here to help give you the information, the resources to help you start, grow, and excel your business through entrepreneurship and knowledge and training. Because that's one of the biggest things that Warrior Rising says is we're growing America through entrepreneurship. And if we can do that with one, we can do that with many. And it's a matter of just how much we can spread the word. And that's where it comes into other people just help us get the word out there like you're doing with us today. And I appreciate that. And it's just a matter of how can, we tap in, because we don't know where every entrepreneur is at. We don't know where all those are that think that they want to start a business. And these agencies and these organizations may have somebody that says at one point in time, somebody came in and said, hey, I thought about wanting to start a business, but I don't know where to start. Well, one of the first places they can start is with Warrior Rising.
And something that's very important to me, especially with young folks coming off of active duty, off their first or maybe second tour on active duty, is letting them know entrepreneurship is an opportunity for you. When I first came into the military, I came in brand new second lieutenant, 1995. No one ever talked about entrepreneurship, right? There was always some retired colonel or something who had gone off and started a business and might come back to a function or something, but nobody really talked about that as an opportunity. And I want to make sure young kids coming out of the military know just like working a government contracting job or a government civil service job or any other job out there, entrepreneurship is a real opportunity for you as well.
And I think it's a testimony to the times. You said you went in 95 or you got
Yeah.
out, you
No,
went
I
in
went in
95.
95. Yeah.
So I went in 95.
Yeah.
I literally, in our time frame, it was pushed college, 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 college. Or you had three options. Well, you had four options then, but the way we were raised, you had three options.
Mhm.
It
Yep.
was college, military, or go get a job. Right?
I mean, jail was always an option
Well,
too, but that was
yeah,
not one that was pushed very hard.
exactly. It wasn't pushed very hard, but a lot of the times, and at that time is a lot of the trade schools were dwindling.
Yeah, that's
At
true.
that time period, and that's what I saw is, the trades were going downhill. They were getting rid of a lot of the manufacturing, in the United States. Back in my area in Ohio, the coal mines were, cutting down. The steel mills were closing down. The automotive parts manufacturer closing down. And so we had three options basically: get a job, go to school, get a technical trade job or training, and go to the military. Now we see that a lot of times in our society now is what is happening is they're realizing that college wasn't the full answer to everything. And a lot of us that are our ages now have realized that we would rather work 80 hours for ourselves than 40 hours for somebody else. And we would rather invest in ourselves. And we are now wanting to instill that into the younger generations that, yes, we need other companies to work for to keep the infrastructure in the United States going, but you can also be that industry that provides jobs for those to be able to keep the infrastructure of America growing by starting your own business. And those of us that have been now doing it at our age are seeing the responsibilities that we have to start a possible company that could lead into employing others to be able to give them the opportunity and encourage those that are young that you have more than just a couple options.
Yeah. And even if you're not interested in entrepreneurship today and you go work for whether it's a big company or a small company, an entrepreneur, a startup, you are quite possibly the future tech founder of tomorrow.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest things is within Warrior Rising is that, you know, they give you the resources and they encourage those that are part of the program to help those out. So if I can start a business to where I can employ people and I can get them at the beginning, and if I know they're a veteran or military spouse or a dependent, and I say, hey, look, jump on the Warrior Academy, take the Warrior Academy course, start it, and they can get an understanding that while they're working with me, they're learning the business operations. They're learning the what it takes to keep the business funded and keep the operation going. They're understanding what the payroll takes and stuff like that. That they can now sit there and I will welcome it when I start hiring people. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I appreciate the time being here. I appreciate the knowledge and the resources and that I did my job of educating and giving them the opportunity to have that knowledge. And they say, I'm going to go start my own business. Go for it.
Absolutely. All right. Let's take a break from Warrior Rising. Let's play a game. Are you up for a game?
Sure.
All right. This game is called Rapid Response.
Oh, gosh.
I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I want you to respond with the first thing that comes to your mind. Doesn't need to be a one-word answer. Take as much time, as much as you need to elaborate, or as little.
Okay.
Not putting you on the spot for long answers either, but want to get the first thing that comes to your mind so we can get to know Frank a little bit better. All right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Frank Manteau, rapid response round. Your time begins now. Podcast recommendation.
Oh. Podcast recommendation. Gary V's stuff, not really necessarily a podcast, but his basically should be in everything that he does. Lost daggone freaking name. Warrior Rising has a podcast.
All right, check that out. And
Warrior
we'll,
Rising, I'd say Gary Vee, the way he looks at different and looking outside the box and a lot of different things. I'll be honest with you. I'm more of now getting immersed in the books than I am in the podcast. So I have a lot of books, but I don't have very many, podcasts.
Hold on to that thought. Don't get ahead of my game questions.
Okay. So I'm not a big listening to much podcast fans in business aspect. I'm more of read it and then I find that it's something it associates with.
That's all right. Knowledge comes in all forms. A mentor who had an impact on you.
A mentor that had an impact on me would be the first one I ever had. His name is Hooter, aka original name is Mark Kenny. He was the reason that I was able to get away from my generational curse and allowed me to experience a lot of different things at a young age in life and not get sucked into the generational curse of what my family was. And Hooter gave me the foundation to make a choice and give my kids an opportunity to change, not only change my stars, but change the stars of my kids.
All right. Well, I think we all owe him a debt of gratitude for getting you on the path you're on today.
Exactly.
Someone we should all be paying attention to.
So many. In what aspect?
Any aspect. Who's someone you're paying attention to?
Am I paying attention to? Well, like I said, I'm paying attention to Gary Vee.
Okay.
Because one of the things that I never thought of is we used to do it on television. We had the QVC and it's still there, but it's not as big, but he's pushing, and we see it a lot of it on some of the TikTok shop and stuff like that. But people need to start doing, if they have a product base, is doing online interactive social shopping. And Gary Vee is touching on that very well. I would also say that there is, one time I'm going to grab my phone and I want to remember his name.
It's okay. You guys can't see it, but I have a whole computer here. So,
anybody that is in the product-based company, I don't want to get I know his name, but I just want to get his correct spelling of his social media. I cannot pronounce his last name correctly, but it's Evan Akuken, Auken, and his social media is Vanator Growth. Evan he was a firefighter that in the craft industry, he created a pen and a chemical that you put on wood, and then when you apply it to a heat gun, it burns. It's basically a burning agent that applied with heat that it turns into it. He has started a amazing curriculum course that talks about e-commerce based businesses and product based businesses of growth. And he gives a lot of free information on his social media. Evan is an amazing individual. If you sign up for his course, you get a weekly coaching calls that you get on live interactive with him and everybody else that's in the course. But Evan is putting out so much great information on product-based businesses that I've never seen before.
All right, we'll all check that out. That's a new one to me. I will check that out for sure.
Yeah.
What is either your get pumped up song or your walk-on music?
So I used to have walk-on music when I wrestled, and it used to be Black Sabbath's Iron Man. I don't have one now. I don't have much of a pumped up song because I am more of an 80s rock and roll, 80s country, 80s, 90s country fan. So I'll have it playing in the background, but it's not something that I'm always listening to. I would, go back to just anything in the 80s rock.
Okay, good to know. We'll for some of these Warrior Rising events, we'll get some good 80s music going.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, there's one out there that I heard recently. It's and then I've started using in social media. Let me take that back. It is, and it's called Valbeat is the name of the group, but it's called A Warrior's Call.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually pretty cool. I came across it not too long ago that I've started using on some of my social media stuff. But yeah.
Okay. The biggest influence in your life.
So I can't, God rest his soul. He passed away a few years ago. But Hooter was the one that, like I said, gave me the opportunities to do other things, taught me how to fish, taught me how to hunt, how to seine, trap, got me involved in the local Boy Scouts group. And we went, he was part of that and going camping and hunting, and learning a lot of various different things, getting connected with everybody. And he was the one that was a pivotal point that when I realized that I didn't want to stay in the area because the economy was in that area because the coal mines were shutting down and everything else. And I literally threw away a 4-year ride scholarship to Pittsburgh Art Institute to continue joining the Marine Corps. I didn't know it then, but I know now why I forgot a lot of the stuff that happened inside the home of my childhood. And he was the aid to give me a life outside of the home. And that was the biggest pivotal point, like I said, to change that generational curse and not become of what a lot of my family was and still is to this day, that I am no longer a part of that. Or not a part of it. I did not become a part of it because I literally graduated high school June 1st. June 5th, I was in MEPS. June 6th, I was on a plane. June 7th, I was on the Yellow Footprints of Parris Island, South Carolina.
Well, again, I think we all owe Hooter a big debt of gratitude for getting you on the path you're on today. Okay, now I know you've been waiting for this one. A book everyone should read.
A book that everyone should read. Like I said, I can't just go with one of them. I got to pull out the whole list. Because
we got time. We got time and plenty of data recording space.
I would say the biggest one that I can say right off the bat is The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver is an amazing book that helped me understand a little bit more about being able to give back and do things and not expect anything in return, and how you can be rewarded for those things. Another one that I will say is Steal Like an Artist.
I haven't read that yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah, Steal Like an Artist. Just because somebody's doing something and you have the same idea doesn't mean you can make it better or you can do it different, right? Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights.
Love it.
That is a phenomenal book that basically helped me decide to go on a road trip whenever I was in a position of quitting my day job, taking this full time, and an opportunity that was supposed to happen didn't happen. I started traveling the country. If you're in business, I would say we get into that rat race of chasing the bill. Read a book called Profit First. It teaches you how to be able to look at the profit side of things first and to separate your money in different buckets and to be able to accommodate for those things. And then I will say the last one, or the last two, is The Art of War and Think and Grow Rich.
If you're new to watching this podcast, we are real big on books here. So Frank is not the first one to list many, many books as part of that question. So thank you. I've read a bunch of those. Some of those are on my list and some of those are new to me. And that's fantastic. That's what that question's all about, is I get to learn about books I haven't read. The coolest business idea you've ever seen?
Well, you'd be a little selfish here, but mine, because I created the world's first colorable chocolate crayons.
And we're going to dig into that. So Mill Treats.
Nobody's done that one yet. But besides mine, there's so many out there. You've got, like I said, James Legere's Woodshop, taking the legacy and putting them into rings and telling a story through a ring. You have, like I said, Forgotten Not Gone, the stuff that they're doing in the community with the trade community and getting veterans out. You have so many that it's hard to actually pinpoint it down into the coolest, unique idea that I can put down a one.
It's okay. You've given us a lot already, a lot of things to check out.
Some of the other ones that I already touched the base on the first time. You know what I mean? I personally like people that craft and create things.
Okay.
You know, you've got Polish Woodworks, you've got Jason Shaving that created a great shaving, setup, great shave soaps. You have, back into the seasonings, you have Mike Star Blazing Star barbecue sauce. He's got amazing barbecue. He's got freaking seasonings. You have Jason with Grill Your Ass Off seasonings. He's got an amazing set of seasonings that he's done. Various different names of the military: Maudus, gunpowder, infidel, pork rub, all those things. Another one that I like is Jimmy Compton from The Proper Gentleman. If you need leather work done, custom leather work and stuff like that, he is a master in his craft. He's done my money clip. He's done my current wallet that I have. I'm getting ready to have him do a branded wallet for Mill Treats. But Jimmy Compton, he is a craftsman at, leather work. He does a lot of hand tooling and stuff like that. So if you need anything leather work wise, Jimmy Compton is the guy to go to. The Proper Gentleman.
All right, lots of great stuff there. Go check them all out. Your dream vacation spot.
You have to go on a vacation and want one of those, right? I will say for me, and I have a different reasoning why I want to go here. A lot of people that go there, they want to see the aftermath and this and everything else. But I want to go to Poland. Like I said, yes, I cut my family off. I don't have any connections with my immediate family, but I did have connection with my grandmother, who lived with us for a while before she passed away, and she escaped the Holocaust. Her and my grandfather escaped. I didn't get to meet my grandfather because he passed away before I was born. But I don't know my family side on the Polish side of my family. And I don't know what happened to him. There's very limited information. I just recently found somebody that had a book that had resources of different individuals' names that I found my grandparents' names in, that I was able to find the original spelling of my grandmother's maiden name. So I want to go there. I want to find out what side of that family I have there. I want to find the culture of the Polish side, and just see Poland, because it's one of those untapped areas that a lot of people go see, and a lot of people want to go there. And for me, I don't want to remember the chaos. I don't want to remember the trauma and that happened there. I want to get to know what it is now and what part of my family on that side there.
Yeah, amazing tech community in Poland. Really, really skilled coders and tech people doing some amazing things in Poland.
A 3D printer comes from the Czech Republic, so they've got a good people over there creating some things. Prusa 3D printers are one of the top of the line 3D printers that are out there.
A future business trend you're excited about?
3D printing.
3D printing. All right. Last one. Favorite sports team or player?
None.
None? You're not a sports guy?
Nope.
Reading all those books. That's okay.
It's
just good use of your time.
Yeah, it's for me. And I see a lot of the sports that are going this way, and I learned at a young age that, we rely on the community to pay for the tickets and pay for those players. But when a player's that, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, that anybody can do what they do unless they have a physical or mental impairment, with enough hard work, dedication, and training, you can do what that person does. For them to work how many months a year that they do whatever they do, and yes, you have to train and practice to keep up on it, But for them to get paid more than our United States military bothered me. And when we went above and beyond and we did a lot more things and we worked 24/7 basically from time to time,
I remember.
I for them to get paid a lot more and then them to hike up the price of the tickets and say it's an America's sport and this and everything else, but not every American can now attend it like they used to, I walked away from sports.
Hot takes on sports on the leader's mindset. I bet you didn't expect that. Well, thanks for playing our game. It's always great to get to know you in a way that I think the other business and leadership questions don't get us there.
Yeah, that's a first.
Yeah. So, all right, let's shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about you. I want to talk about Mill Treats. But for a lot of our audience who knows about the military, but has not lived in the military, grown up in the military, been in the military, explain the crayon eating thing to us.
So if you go to our website, milltreats.com, and go to the crayons ready to eat product, you can get a full explanation, but I'll give you the short one.
Short version, please.
Marine, acronym, muscles are required, intelligence not essential. We've done some weird, stupid, outlandish things. And we have, there was a point in time where the Marine Corps had the highest ASVAB waiver to allow people to join the military because we needed to be able to take care of operations that were at hand. So that would be the short, simple explanation of why Marines are called crayon eaters and why we brought the joke to reality.
Yeah. So again, for folks who don't know the military, the ASVAB is the test that you take before you go into the military. And to be in certain career fields, you have to get a minimum score.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we don't get enough people who get that minimum score. And so we offer waivers because we need to put bodies into those career fields because they're all important. So, all right. So you decided to bring the legend to life with the crayons ready to eat. So how did you get started with Mill Treats? How did Warrior Rising fit into this? Tell me the story of going from, tell me the story of starting the company. We'll dig into some other stuff in a bit.
So I started out doing woodworking. I ran my own woodworking business, doing custom home decor, very military items and things of that nature. And then there, my kids were in high school, and I got involved with the parent aspects of volunteering to help out with my kids, which has changed over the years massively. So my son got in the band, my daughter was in choir, and they needed some props built. Well, the one parent that was there no longer, their child graduated and they didn't have the woodworking knowledge. Well, lo and behold, my kids, who they are, they were like, "Mom, my dad does." And and they was like, "Hey, Dad, they need somebody that can help build stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not? Come on." So I got to build the halftime props for the high school marching band. The choir needed one thing. And then my son started dating the color guard captain for the halftime shows. And then they came to me and wanted me to build a giant picture frame that they could hop in and out of. And that is where the crayon eater joke came about. I wasn't really on social media only because of keeping track of my kids originally. But then it was to promote the business and get the word out there and get back into the veteran community, because I walked away from the veteran military community for almost 13 years.
A lot of us do. I wanted some distance as well when I got out.
Yep. And it was one of those things that I will tell anybody today: when you get out, don't walk away from the military community. Find a group in your local area and stand with it, because that is part of our transitioning to get with those that have been out, get with those that we know that understand us, and helps the transition go a lot easier. Unlike me and probably you, our transition wasn't the greatest. It was rough, and it was a long drawn out time process to get us where we are now.
I mean, my transition wasn't bad, but I have learned over time, just from talking to a lot of other veterans, even in the best of circumstances, that transition is still hard. And it's they tell you it's going to be hard.
Yep.
I don't think any of us really believe them how hard it's going to be. And it takes a couple of years of distance from it to go, that was harder than I expected.
Yep, exactly. So getting into the veteran community locally and getting the veteran community on social media, that's where I saw the joke of Marines being called crayon eater, because I wasn't called one. Started seeing Marines eating real crayons on social media posts and stuff like that. So I was working on this giant picture frame, and there was many different ways that I could have done it. And it was like they needed it to stand upright and be rigid. And I'm like, just get a piece of plywood, cut out the center, print out, make it look like a unique, giant picture frame. And instead of painting onto it, which was going to take multiple layers of paint and stuff like that, that I just said, simplest way to do it is glue a giant picture frame onto it and use crayons because every color blends in. Painting, if it dries too quick, it's not going to blend in. You got to add layers. Markers, once they bleed out, then you've got to, change colors, and it doesn't blend in very well and doesn't show the same color in the interchange. And like crayons, they can do the same thing. So I'm literally working on this project, put a crayon on my mouth to change colors, and I started gnawing on the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe there's something to this crayon eater nonsense. And the type of guy that I am, the artistic, the creative, the guy, I went down a rabbit hole. I was like, is there truly an edible crayon? And couldn't find anything. And then I came across this one article about a chocolate, style crayon. And I was like, maybe there's a way to do it with chocolate. I used to work at O'Reilly Auto Parts with a team member in California. And when I took over as store manager, and she brought in these amazing peanut butter truffles for the outgoing store manager. And that's when I learned that she went to school to be a pastry chef for a few semesters, and her name's Cassandra Gordon. And that was a few years earlier. And then I'm like, when I thought of this idea, and I'm like, does she still have the same number? Reached out, called her. I'm like, Cass, I need to make chocolate color. Do you know how to do that? And she started explaining to me the process. I says, no, I wanted to write. I wanted to be able to make a chocolate crayon. And because of her background, and that they've never went over this, never talked about it in her schooling, but I knew her work ethic, and I knew the way her dad was. Her dad's a 82nd Airborne Army veteran, that when she said she's going to try, she's going to try. And lo and behold, 2 weeks later, she sent me the world's first CRE of actually making chocolate color.
And I've had them. They are delicious. Get yourself some crayons ready to eat. What are some of the other things you're offering? Because that used to be the name of the company, Crayons Ready to Eat.
Yes.
And you've expanded into meal treats. What else are we going to be looking at?
So when we realized that we were a seasonal product, because right now we're not in that selling phase, we're getting ready to dwindle down. So the crayons aren't available right now. Apologize. But we're in the transition of growth. We outgrew our manufacturing facility, so we've got to find a new distribution because they were our distribution as well. But we realized that there was more to what we were doing with the crayons. We were telling the joke of why Marines are called crayon eaters. And when we realized we were seasonal, it was like, okay, now how can we transition? How can we set a tone for something different? And that's when Meal Treats was born, to be the first educational camaraderie, food and military educational camaraderie treat, beverage, and accessory company. So we're telling you the stories of everything. So we launched our coffee, which is 100% Arabica beans, and everything we do is quality. Our chocolates are Belgian white chocolate. Our coffee is a cup score of an 86, so it's low acidic, goes down smooth, leaves no bitter aftertaste. Roasted with mesquite wood, individual serving pods that you brew at 8 ounces. And we created that in a medium and dark roast. We tell you the history why military is a part of all the way back to Civil War times. And is it okay if I say the full word?
Go ahead.
All righty.
We're on the internet.
So
no one cares.
Just making sure. Not sure, and want to make sure with you. But we introduced a cup of Shut the Fuck Up. And that was the coffee line. And like I said, we tell you that history. Then we realized that how many other more things that we can do. So we launched our 40 millimeter grenade salt and pepper shakers to tell you the history of the 40 millimeter grenade. And in the next coming weeks, we will be, once we get the approval from the publishing company, that we will be launching you remember Mad Libs?
Oh, absolutely.
So we are coming out with military libs, which is going to be each branch, and then we're going to do a military general wide of military libs that people can fill out and add different, line, fill in the blanks to create their own stories and have some humor coming around. So that's coming down the pipeline.
I'm going to start an Instagram short podcast just based off of that. That's going to be fun. I can't wait for those.
Yep, that's the goal, is we're coming out with that. So we're everything we can launch to do those things. We have plans to launch a dog tag shaped chocolate bar to tell the history of the dog tag. We launched the yellow footprint keychains for the Marines to tell the significance of the yellow footprints of entering a first thing you do to join the Marine Corps.
Hmm.
We're going to do a breath mint that's going to look like an 800 milligram ibuprofen. That's going to tell you the history of the medical side of the military. So,
So if you want some delicious stuff with your history,
yep,
holla at your boy.
exactly. NoTreats.com.
What was the biggest lesson from the Marine Corps that's helped you as an entrepreneur?
Improvise, adapt, and overcome. That has been the biggest ordeal is and mission accomplishment. Yeah, you're going to fail, but fail is a first attempt in learning. Yeah, you're going to be told no, but it's the next opportunity. But just be able to improvise and adapt and pivot whenever something happens. And it's not necessarily changing the mission, because in the military, the mission is the mission. We don't have a plan B. We have the mission. The mission is it. It's how you're going to get that mission accomplished. It's the tactics, it's the avenues and stuff like that. So that's where the improvise and adapt and overcome comes in. And that's the same thing with your business. You don't need a plan B. You need, what is your mission? What is your vision for your company? And those are things that we're going to help out with in Warrior Rising. But to be able to find those things and answer those questions, what your mission and vision is, and staying focused to that. And then it's figuring out how you can adapt and pivot to get that mission accomplished.
Were there any habits from the military you had to let go of to become a successful entrepreneur?
I basically wear a uniform every day. It's the same shirt, same pants I wear every day. So I don't know about that one. Um, I would say one of the habits that I had to get away from is, and a lot of people in the military are guilty of this, is not having empathy. And I was learned from another great mentor, Steve Malott. Whenever I was working at O'Reilly Auto Parts and managing people, he helped me understand what empathy was and how effective it can be. So I would say to anybody that's in the military, learn empathy.
I agree. Something I am still working on myself. So it is a daily challenge for me, and I continue to work on it.
Um,
What's keeping you up at night? You've got a lot going on. What are the things keeping you up at night? What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now, and how are you tackling it?
Right now, it's a matter of the transitioning from my one manufacturer to not having a new manufacturer. And that's, I need funding. That's going to require funding because, it was that having that standing, operations with this company that we could do a production run over the summer and pay it off in a couple months when we open up our sales, because we don't have sales in the summer, so we can have a gap. Now I need money right off the bat to purchase product again, like I did when I first started the company. Um, when we reached out with the crowdfunding, when we got the loan from the family or from the friends, or the investment from them, and when Warrior Rising came along and we did the grant. So right now I'm going to be looking for any kind of pitches to be able to opportunities to get into, any possible investment opportunities. And we're probably going to launch the military libs and the documents as a crowdfunding to fund those, because and hopefully we can get enough extra for that to cover the next production of the chocolate runs with the new manufacturer when we do find them.
Great strategy. I think so. Great strategy. And if you're an investor or you are part of an angel group or something and you'd like to talk to Frank, we'll have his contact info for you. Anything we can do to help to get you into rooms and pitching, I'm happy to share that with you. So
and that also comes to apply in for Warrior Rising, because Warrior Rising, we're going to need funding here locally, where our goal is to have a business shower. And I'm be flat out and honest with everybody, that for us to operate a business shower, yes, the money that Warrior Rising raises goes back into the programming and goes back into the money that we give to the veteran entrepreneurs. But there are some things that we need to cover cost on. We need to cover the venue for when we do the pitching, when we do a gala event where we bring try to raise more money for the next opportunity and everything else. But I would say on a low end, we would need, probably starting out, maybe 150. But my goal here locally is I want to be able to give a max amount of money to these veterans that we do pick out of these platoon that come in and that they show the dedication, they show the hard work. And even though they don't get picked for this business shower, they can get picked for the next business shower. I want to try to come up with at least $350,000 here locally to fund not only the operations of the platoon, to get any kind of space that we may need, but be able to, when we do this business shower here in Vegas, that we can be able to give back to the community in a significant way.
All right. Well, the gauntlet's thrown down. We'll get the ecosystem to step up here and see what we can do. So, as we wrap up, what's your best advice for a veteran who's thinking about taking the leap into entrepreneurship?
Just like whenever you do anything, as soon as you get out of bed, what do? You put one foot down, and then you put the next foot down. And then when you get up, 1 foot forward. Put the foot forward, make the jump, get out of that bed, and go for it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We've been wanting to do this a while. I'm glad we finally got to do this. This was great. Where can everyone get in touch with you so that they can either get some of what you have to offer, or if they've got an opportunity for an investor, or you've got a venue, if you're in Vegas and you've got a venue you'd like to donate for Warrior Rising for an event?
I would say the easiest aspect to get a hold of me directly is go to my personal website, frankmanteau.com, and that's FRANKMANT as in Tango, EAU.com. On there, I have a resource. I have an informational page that has all the aspects of my company, Mill Treats. It has the aspects of Warrior Rising on there. But if you want to get a hold of me directly for the Warrior Rising, it's simple. It's frank@warriorrising.org. Anything on the Mill Treats side, go to milltreats.com. But ultimately, I encourage everybody that is looking to start, grow, or scale a business to go to warriorrising.org and click on Become a Vetrepreneur and sign up for the Warrior Academy. And from there, we'll get your information. And like I said, me directly is my website. It has all those resources. It has all the links to the platoon sign up, Mill Treats, everything.
Right. And the kickoff the launch is March 5th?
March 5th at 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
17 to 1900 for those that understand military time.
And you can get signed up for that in all those places that Frank talked about.
Yep. And that'll be on there. And I'll give you the link that you can put in the show notes, the direct sign up RSVP form for that. And that is actually, we're going to be having that event on 3300 West Sahara at the Nevada Business Center on the 4th floor Nevada room.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. If you found this conversation valuable, please like, comment, and share it with someone who can use it. We love doing these conversations for you. We love being able to bring you these interviews with amazing leaders like Frank. So go out there, do great things today. Keep watching, keep growing your leader's mindset. Onward and upward.